Yeah, it's sturdy enough so if you're relaxing and you see a coyote, oh, get up that fast ever unless it's a real emergency. So I made my mock-up. Yeah, then I can actually sit in it, test it out. I like that it's, you know, sometimes you sit in one and you're just kind of like, how do I, in this I can rest my knees because it's narrow enough. Angle feels good. You can actually see the pencil line. Wanted to make sure my head would hit the back. It's important to me when I'm watching the sunset. You can see there's X's and changes, but once I got this together and got the dimension, just wrote it all down and made my cut list. Because cedar is so expensive. So this helped me maximize my cuts. So that's what I have here is all my legs, all my brackets, all my braces. So this is right here. Just like every great project starts out always with a cut list. So here I am cutting my 4 2x4s cedar. First 2 2x4s, I cut my 40-inch, my 33 1/4, and my 19. The third 2x4 is 28.5, 21, and 12. And the last 2x4 is 28.5, 21, 19. And that 19, you're going to want to resaw right down the middle. And on the 33 1/4 inch piece that you cut, you're going to want to put 20-degree angles on each end. And then you can see on the drawing, you want to go 2 5/8 up on the right side and cut your notch. So we're assembling the 21-inch legs with simple Craig joinery and some Titebond 3 glue. Just doing 2 Craig holes in the leg so they'll be hidden underneath the armrest. Hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, like and subscribe. I put all the legs together, so I am having to chamfer them. I didn't want a sharp corner like this. I didn't want a round over because it didn't match the design like this square chamfer does. Just put a chamfer bit in my little Ryobi palm router, and I am going to go this way and put a little chamfer on there. You ready, kids? I don't want to blow out the end, so I'm going to go backwards just on the end, and then I'll come on this side and run it all the way across, and it should avoid a blowout like this. Right side, left side. Helps me just to lay it out like this so I know. And then what we're going to do, take the right, left. I love working with cedar. 13 3/4 from the bottom. I know that's my measurement. So I just make a mark. Take my carpenter square. Make sure these are lined up. Like that is my leg mark. And the legs need to sit on the inside of each piece. So there and there. So that's why you got to kind of know what side's what. So we're going to set the right side over here. This is the orientation for the left side. So I don't want the pocket holes on the outside. I want it on the inside. Sometimes I'll even just make a little mark in case I go away for a second. And I know if I put this edge level with the edge of my Craig jig, I can get this and this. I'll show you. Normally it sits straight up and down. Because we have a 20-degree angle, I just wanted to make sure when I drilled this one, I don't have a little piece of the pocket hole right here. So I want to make sure it's all hidden. So you can see my holes didn't come out over the edge, so these will be totally hidden. And then to attach it, tight bond 3 because we're going outdoors. And people would say because this is end grain, the glue is just going to soak in there, and there's all kinds of videos on it. Like it doesn't matter what you do, it's just gluing end grain. I don't know why I still do it. Peace of mind knowing that it's not. All you need is the Craig screws, but I just can't get past gluing things, so I always add a little glue and then wipe it on my table. There's the line I made at 13 3/4. I'm using the blue coated screws for exterior. The other ones would rust out and we don't want that. So this is the left side. It'll sit like that. And the right side on this side. Already got my mark. So I know that this is the outside. That means I want my Craig holes right there. And even though this is opposite, I know I set it on the edge of my jig. Everything is symmetrical, so I just line this edge up. And I know I'm not going to peek through here. And then again, this butt joint is probably, the glue's just going to soak in and not do anything, but can't get past it, guys. It's got to do something. Got my line right there. The reason you have a pouch is to keep your tape measure in it. So we got our left and our right. We got the makings of a chair, and I know because of my mock-up, the inside dimension is 19. So I have some pieces that are cut 19. So this is going to be my front piece, and it's going to line up just like that, but I got to Craig it. So this is my bad side. I don't want to see this junk, so I want all that facing in. So this will be covered by the seat. This knot will make a nice wasp nest. Okay, so this is my back. That's where I'm going to drill my pocket hole. What? I know where to put this piece because I'm going to go off of this edge and then 90 degrees off of that edge. So see, this edge is going to line up like this. Can you see that? So this is my spot right there. Makes it easy, and then I just have to check square. Bada boom, bada bing. It's gonna live right there. Love it. All right, pointless glue. Can't be pointless. Gotta quit saying that. It's gotta do something. And I'm ebonizing this, so I try to be really careful with the glue because glue does not ebonize. Sorry, board, you are so screwed. I'll go ahead and glue it while I got it tipped up. I used to do this. There is the makings of a chair. Again, I know my inside dimension of my chair is 19, and we're going to make the back. You can see in the example, the top edge of the back is covered in cedar, so you want your ugly up. That's my ugly. This is going to be the top of my chair. So this is 19. I just need to drill a couple Craigs here, attach that, add a piece here, and then I did a half piece in the middle and a half piece down below, and I'll show you why when I get there. Right now I'm just going to Craig the ugly. Just want to double check you got the sides showing that you want. When I first started woodworking, I thought pocket holes, Craig jig was cheating because there's so many different joinery styles. And this is so fast and easy, but it is one of the strongest joints. Okay, so I was chatting it up, chatting away, and this is fine, but I didn't need these. Again, this is 19, so I know that if I attach here, that this back will fit in that side. So what I'm going to do, again, add some glue. This guy's watching this right now like, what? Seriously, he said it's not going to do anything. Why is he doing that? Got to do something. And then I like to clamp it because Craig's can move, slide around. So I just clamp where I am about to connect. And that will just keep the pieces sliding around. This bit's been used a bit. What did Brookie say? Your dad's gonna say an awkward joke. Glue in a butt joint. Clamp it on that side. So when you're screwing it in with the Craig, sometimes this will raise up. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. Make sure you're flush on the edge, and that'll keep those boards from moving. So this is my bottom, and this is the correct height. 11 3/4, that's what I was gonna guess. I should have said it out loud. So when I was ripping through all these, I cut this long because I wasn't sure what that measurement was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be under 12 inches. So this way I can get an exact size when it gets put together. And we're just gonna Craig that right there. So again, is there an ugly side? Not really, but this side's going to be the ugly side. Really do. Let me see if I can get away without clamping this one. That one didn't move. Fought me though. Because this 2x4 is going to be, this is the back, this is that little 2x4. It's going to be inside these legs, so there won't be any cedar on it. So I need to add a strip on top so we got something to tack the cedar to. And then I just added a middle brace. So I cut one in half, then the middle brace, and then the bottom piece to connect this cedar to. 11 3/4. And then I'm just going to go rip it in half. It's just a 30-second off, hitting my perfectionism. It's going to take a tiny bit. There it is. And then I roughly need half. It doesn't have to be perfect. So basically whatever half of your piece is, if you're using 2x4s or cedar 2x4s or other dimensional lumber. Again, you want your blade just above. Here we go. And I know that this is the thickness, so it's going to be nice and flush. All I got to do is Craig these quick. Just doing one hole, middle-ish. And put one down on the bottom and one in the middle. Find the middle of 43 and 5/8. We're going to go 21 3/4. Pretty close. And it's going to be 22 from the bottom, but make sure you do 21 3/4 from the top, so you got the exact same distance. And then we're just going to line up the top edge with our mark. Not going to say it. You won't see this side, I just don't like blue. Okay, we need to finish the top before we install it. So these two chairs are going to be together or in the same area. So you can see how the chevron goes this way. On this chair, I want the chevron to go opposite. I just think it'll look good if these two chairs were together and one was coming up and one was coming up this way. This is our bottom. This is our top. I'm going to sit in here like this. I'm a visual guy. I don't want my boards going this way. I want them going that way. That'll just help me, and those marks will get covered up. How I did it last time, I want variation, so I don't want to just cut one of these boards. I'm going to cut some different looking ones. It's a very similar batch of cedar. Normally you got a lot more browns, but it's fun. This should ebonize pretty cool. But I'm just picking through, trying to find any variation. Go with these three to start. I'm doing all 45s. So I set up my little Ryobi on a 45. Don't need that. I'm just going to go off this edge. So that should be my start. And that will go right there. This I'm going to use 1 1/4 brad and some glue, because this is not end grain. Again, ugliest down. Going to add some glue. This is the only piece on the whole thing that the glue is all covered up. Then I just set the next piece where it's going to go. So I'd rather keep it long. This side lines up nice, so I'm going to keep it flush. Rather leave it long because I can just trim it with the trim router, and then I make my line, and then that's my cut. So I went proud of that line because I want it to hang over just a smidge. So that line, that blade is right on the money. I'm just going to give it a little bit. You see there I have just a little extra. That way if there's any variation, you're going to be nice and flush, because you're going to trim this piece right off. And then I make a line on both ends so I know exactly where to put the glue. I want a good surface of glue so these pieces stick, so I'm just spreading it out with my glue spreader. I like a lot of variation when I ebonize, so it's important to get different pieces of cedar. You don't want them to look too similar if you want variation in your pattern. So this piece already has the 45, which works out great.
when I line it up, you can see on the end now I have to cut a 90 on this end, 90 degrees, and then a 45 on the other end. And I will cut the 45 first, show you how to cut the 90. This is how I cheat and cut the 90. So off of the 45, it's 90. So I just cheat, put the 45 on the fence and cut a 90. Had to do a glue windmill because the glue wasn't coming out. So I didn't say it, but there's a 2x4 here and here. So I'm just visualizing that's where I need to put my brads. Again, don't want to use the same board. So we're going to find another variation, and there's some scraps. So we're going to use one of those pieces. This board has cuppage. You can see right there. So just for comfort's sake, see how it goes like that. The edges, I don't want those in my back, so I just like to flip the cup boards over this orientation. So sometimes you got to change the 45 depending on what side of the frame you've made your mark. There's a knot on the end of this board, so when I cut it, you can see right on the tip there's a piece of the knot. I'm just glad I caught it, so I'm just going to recut the 45 quick. My bottle's not full, so when I set it on the table, it all settles. So you just have to do a quick windmill to get all the glue down to the other end like this.
This is my line.
So the bottom half of my frame is actually going to be inside the chair. You can see that bottom 2x4. So I just want to make sure I cut this piece flush with that edge.
So this part is going to be covered, so I don't want this to go all the way down. All right, so we got the legs put together, the leg and the arms. All we need to do is attach the back. We got that all done. So I just need to mark 19 inches from right there. And 19 inches from the edge of the seat. This will be the front of our back support. And I just want to check square. That's perfect. So if I did this right, it should fit in here. Oh, oops. Hey, forgot to drill the Craigs. This is what will hold the back on the leg structure. So see this? It's like a normal 2x4. You just want to put your Craig in the middle. Feeling my drill? Burning through batteries today. Okay. So if you look at the arms from back here, you're going to want this flush, right? See that? Want this top corner flush with your back. You also want this flush with the bottom, and see my mark right there at 19? Make sense? So I'm going to put one Craig in the bottom hole here, just so I've got some adjustment. I'll kind of hold everything together, and then I'm going to go up underneath. Just going to put one screw in the bottom. This is kind of a tricky part for me. You almost need an extra set of hands, which is like foreign language to me. Could use a clamp of some kind, I suppose. The trick is to get the legs on the ground, front legs, back legs, so it's going to sit without rocking, and then add that piece. So what I do for that is 6-inch timber lock, sorry. You can see it's going to get in there nice and good. Be a really solid arm, and I actually like the look of this black on the arm, and when you see it ebonized, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I get it. Make sure it's laying flat. I didn't do that with this chair, and I got a bit of a wobble I got to fix. So you're just going middle of this, and you want to be in the middle of the back 2x4. So here and here. I want to say nailed it, but that's not right. Okay. Oops, sorry, Mr. Mike. Then all we need to do to finish this baby is cut the seat boards and sand them. We got 22 3/8. 22 3/8. Perf. And if I look at my finished chair, I need 1.5 more. Hope cedar's got protein in it. I am eating a lot. I should have about 2 inches left. What do we got? What do we got? 2 inches? 2 inches. Samario. All right, I got my boards for my seat cut. Just need to run the sander over them quick, tack them in. This baby's done. Wow, not true. It's got to be sanded one more time and ebonized and kind of outdoor polyurethane. There we go. Microphone's going to be loud. You always switch hands. They say you can cause nerve damage if you vibrate them too much. I sanded this for about 2 hours yesterday, and about an hour after, I could feel both hands tingling. You'll see when we ebonize, but I'm leaving some of the texture in there. It just adds some variation, makes it look kind of a modern rustic, which I really like for these. I have in my head that these have to be baby butt smooth because your butt's going to be on it. But we're putting a seat cushion on, so you just need to make sure they're smooth enough they don't hurt the seat cushion. And if somebody decides not to have a seat cushion, It's nice to have a smooth surface. I'm using, yeah, 120. That one's about dead. Cedar's pretty rough, so I'm using 120 to get through it, get it nice and smooth, and then I'll go over it with 220 before we ebonize, just to give it one more nice smooth coat. A little glue and some brads, and we're in business. Cut my fingers off so it is a glue brush. Oh, nuts, it's dripping. I love and hate glue. Love and hate. Hate mostly. Love. Sorry. Enough hate in the world. I'm going to lay them all out. Bring them all to this edge. And I just need to brad this baby in place. Beautiful. Let's test it out. I'm kidding, it's not that heavy. Cedar is actually pretty great. You can see, this is what I'm going for. I think that looks cool, doesn't it? Mountain. What if I busted right through it? Solid too. I'm happy. Big guy. I do like the raw cedar, the natural cedar, naked cedar. But I'm really excited to ebonize these bad boys. You've seen the video of me ebonizing, right? Right? I'm going to ebonize these. Oh, the blacks, the tans, the blondes. Can't wait.
Can you say what a chamfer is and why you're doing it?
Hey Google, what's a chamfer?